Good morning, everybody. So we saw about kinds of communication and types of communication. So now we need to speak about verbal communication. So what happens in verbal communication and how it goes is the way we can do that, the language, the speaking, the writing, and the active listening. These are the important components of verbal communication. So what we do is communication, and how we change it, how it moves is always up to us. How active we are, how active we should be. So the important aspects of verbal communication is not just what we speak or write, it is also depending upon the body language, because it not necessarily be body language. Let us say you give an invitation, a marriage invitation. It is all verbal, written format. But the color of the invitation, the texture, the design, everything matters, isn't it? So all these things matters, and how we move from there is always up to us. So when we say language, language doesn't always mean English, because some people always think develop your language skills means English. It may be German, it may be Japanese. So once we start this game of language, we should be grammatically correct. We can't be wrong, and we can't expect anything to happen if you're wrong. So the language should have appropriateness of clarity. We should be aware of what we speak. There can be no going back and what we say. That too, uh, now even when I speak right now, it is online. So things things are online, which means it is there for everybody to see, not just my class. Anybody can see this. So when everybody can see this, it is very important that we state the right things in the right format. That will be your advantage. If you make a mistake, you can correct it a certain bit. If you make a blunder, you're finished forever. Kind of, but not really. So when we want to speak, right now I'm speaking in a microphone. Actually, it's a earphone connected with a microphone. I'm comfortable with this kind of stuff. So my pronunciation should be understandable for you. If I speak in any other format, which may be grammatically correct for an Englishman, but not correct for the Indian audience, then my speaking is no good, because I'm not addressing my audience. The pace, the volume, the tone, they are everything. You can just speak in a surface level, you can get deeper, can be sharper. To every person, it varies. Every person, it varies. You need not to be Jesudas or SPB, but at least whatever we can speak in a pleasant format. So normally, when you have a focus of how to speak, what to do, then invariably your ability to speak is better. If you have a very strong emotion to the listener, you will look at them, your eye contact is good. So this is how we start our communication, not by, maybe to some extent we may try to show it off in the beginning, but gradually you will see this. Our communication is all about reaching out people, not necessarily teacher. It can be anybody. Today I saw a video of SNS Academy School. It's a small kid, less than 10 years, and this kid is very strong in grammar and teaching simple ways to learn grammar, which is fantastic. Which is fantastic, better than me. I was not like that when I was 10 years. Writing, so which is mostly typing. Writing is gone, but the aspect is the same. Maybe right now you can disguise your handwriting for a Times New Roman or Arial, or you can have your own handwriting as a font also. So actually now the last aspect is listening, but the first aspect is listening. Only when you taste good food, you can make good food. Or you can say this, I'm tasting very bad food, so I want good food. That is also there, a negative inspiration. But unless you're a good listener, you can't be a good speaker. The good or a better speaker in you will only come out if you are a good listener. So I will not say avoid, don't. All these things are only when you don't have a focus and inclination. If you have the focus, if you have the inclination, you're already there, isn't it? So what needs to be taught is really less and it can be very easily taught. So that's the way life happens. That's the way it should be. So active verbal communication involves these aspects. You should be, and one important aspect of today's is people have very short-term focus. Reading books is going down because the images in movies are going really fast. So when you read it, it takes some time to kickstart yourself. But when you read a book, it's a very different thing than seeing a movie or something. In many ways, if you don't put this reading into a proper place when we are kids, most probably we may never get them. We may never have our children to study anything if they don't read properly. So that is one aspect of who we are that should be kept. So, like this, there are many aspects to verbal communication. So, one important aspect is if you want to cook, you should taste. If you want to eat, you should be hungry. If you want to speak, you should listen. If you want to write, you need to read, observe. So, that one aspect is the most important aspect, according to me, when you want to be a good verbal